Are you up late at night watching this video? Have you been scrolling endlessly for hours because you have something else that you're probably avoiding doing? Yeah, I can relate to that. I'm Yasmin and I create content about self-development, lifestyle, travel, and beauty. But tonight I want to talk about worrying. If I could win a gold medal in something, it would be this. Maybe we can troubleshoot this together and figure out ways to release ourselves from the grips of worrying. When we're worrying, from my personal experience, we're asking ourselves really open-ended questions that we don't have the answers to. And if you take a survey of what's happening in your mind, so if you catch yourself in a moment of worry and kind of rewind the tape of what you were just thinking, most of the time you will have been thinking thoughts like, what if this happens? What if this doesn't happen? How is this going to happen? How will I afford this? When will this happen? There's a lot of those how, why did this happen? Those kind of big like why, how, when, where, those types of questions are really what trigger rumination and worrying. So what I have learned to do is to not beat myself up when I do start to have those thought patterns, but to catch myself and kind of take some space from the thoughts. I don't make an effort to answer them, especially if I'm not doing anything solution oriented, if I'm not applying for jobs or setting appointments to look at new apartments. If I'm not doing an actual task that can help me answer that question, I make an effort to avoid sitting around and spinning my wheels to try to answer that question myself. I don't have all the answers, and most likely neither do you. Once you realize that you're not fully in control of the outcome of your life and like the path that you're on in life, you can do your best, but there's always going to be curveballs. There's always going to be unknowns and things that you couldn't predict that come your way. Once you kind of accept that that's just life, then it doesn't feel so personal and so daunting and overwhelming when you do have so much uncertainty to navigate. Something that's actually been helping me a ton is creating content. And this YouTube video that you're watching right now is literally me in my pajamas, not being able to sleep, deciding that instead of asking myself a million questions, I'm just gonna get up and do something that feels good and allows me to express myself and create. And I've noticed that the more input that I have in my mind, those worries and doubts and fears and insecurities, the more I need to offset them with output, whether that's connection with family and friends, output creatively like making this video or singing a song or dancing or doing yoga, some type of output that allows me to get energy out. Because the energy is inside regardless, and if I don't do something with it, it will turn into worry. I'm not perfect at practicing this. This is something that I'm building like a muscle in the gym. I'm catching myself in real time and redirecting my thoughts and redirecting my actions. And nights like tonight where I have sleep insomnia and it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I wish I could go to bed, but I just can't. I'm making the choice to intentionally do something with myself that is an antidote to worry. If there's a book that you want to read, that could help. If there's a poem that you want to write, maybe that could help. If there's a business plan that you're working on, I think it's important to redirect that worry towards the tasks and the goals that will lead you towards the future you want to create. Positive actions are that antidote. At one point, I really struggled with rumination. So whatever the issue was in my life or a tension that I was feeling in a relationship, I would really just mull over it endlessly in my mind. For me, showers are such a vulnerable time, you guys. If I'm going through a hard time and I get in the shower and I'm just in there with all my thoughts, that's another reason why I wanted to make this video, because sometimes that rumination and those kind of repetitive cyclical thoughts that start to really stress us out, they happen automatically. You don't even notice that they happen until you're like 20 minutes into conversing with them in your mind. So I am encouraging you to practice catching yourself and listening to those thoughts. And when you hear them, they're going to sound like, why did this happen? How did that happen? When will I get this? And you can catch them and you can hear them and you can kind of distance them from you and look at them as something else and not identify with them completely. And once you do that, then you can say, okay, I hear those thoughts and I see them and I acknowledge that they're here and that's okay that they're here. But I'm going to go focus on something else and I'm not going to take them with me. If they try to pop up, that's cool, but I'm making this video now. That's what I'm doing to work through worry. Or, for you, it might be I'm writing this book or whatever it is that you're going to do, but find a task that is a positive in your life, that is something that represents you stepping into the fullness of who you are and the future that you want to create. And when those worries come up, I don't care if you have to stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning because you can't sleep, like me. It's better to do that than to be tossing and turning and worrying yourself to death. Okay, life is short. Everything is going to work out. If you are a person of faith, you can always pray, you can write, you can meditate. There's so many other things that you can do that are better for you than worrying. I think another thing is that it feels productive. And so many times in my life, I've tricked myself into thinking that worrying was problem solving. I used to really believe that. I used to think that if I stopped worrying, I was being irresponsible and I would never figure anything out and I would never find the answers and I would never know what the next step is going to be. And that just couldn't be further from the truth. The less I give in to worrying and ruminating and obsessing, the more room I have to take the steps to get me to where I need to be. So I hope that helps you. I hope that you are able to see that there's no benefit from worrying. It feels like you're doing something because it exerts energy, even if it's just mental energy. But if you can gather that energy and redirect it into something that is more positive and more productive for you, I think it'll get you a lot further. So I won't even make this video too long. I really appreciate you if you stuck with me through the end of the video. Thank you guys so much. I hope that I imparted some knowledge on you, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week.